This is the first time the U.S. has ever used the more than 20,000-ton mother of all bombs.
Targeted a system of tunnels and caves.
The U.S. has unleashed its most devastating weapon yet on Cartel Strongholds, the mother of all bombs. Cartel compounds, once thought untouchable, are reduced to rubble as drones, guided missiles, and elite forces strike with ruthless precision. The ground shakes, fear spreads, and no fortress is safe.
I would bomb the out of them.
What happens when total destruction arrives without warning? Join us as we reveal how the United States dropped the mother of all bombs on cartel networks and changed the battlefield forever. The final ace. The United States military made history when it used the most powerful conventional bomb in its arsenal in live combat for the first time, designated the GBU-43 and known as the Massive Ordnance Air Blast. The weapon quickly earned its now famous title, the mother of all bombs, a name given to its extraordinary size and unmatched destructive strength. Weighing more than 21,000 pounds, the MOAB is often mistaken for the massive ordnance Penetrator, another giant in America's arsenal. Both weapons are immense, but their missions could not be more different. The MOAB was created as a fast, urgent response after the September 11 attacks. Built for a battlefield the United States barely understood American forces suddenly faced Al-Qaeda and the Taliban in rugged terrain, confronting unpredictable tactics that demanded new solutions. The MOAB was never planned as a long-term program. It was assembled quickly from available components, with only about 15 weapons ever produced. Some of its engineering even drew from old Soviet intercontinental ballistic missile technology. After its testing at Eglin Air Force Base in 2003, it remained unused in combat for more than a decade. Its dramatic debut came when it was released from the back of a U.S. Air Force MC-130 Special Operations aircraft. The bomb was carried on a cradle resting on an airdrop platform, pushed out with drogue parachutes that extracted both the cradle and the platform. Once clear of the aircraft, the drogues detached, and the bomb descended freely without a slowing parachute. Guided by GPS, it traveled with precision toward its target in Afghanistan's eastern Nangarhar province. Below lay a vast system of tunnels and caves in the Akin district, a heavily fortified stronghold used by ISIS-K. Militants relied on these underground passages to hide, transport weapons, and coordinate attacks. The objective was simple and severe: destroy the network, remove the fighters, and break the backbone of ISIS-K operations in the region. The blast that followed was overwhelming. At least 94 ISIS militants were killed, and the shockwave rippled far beyond the target area. Observers around the world noted that the strike demonstrated an apparent readiness by the United States to use its most powerful non-nuclear weapon when necessary. A message noticed not only by ISIS, but also by nations monitoring American military decisions, including North Korea. A new question now hangs over the global fight against organized crime. Cartels continue to build concealed labs, reinforced storage sites, and intricate tunnel systems that echo the tactics of past terrorist groups. As the likelihood of the MOAB entering this battlefield grows, one chilling mystery remains. What level of destruction would this bomb deliver against the world's most powerful criminal empires? Total annihilation of the drug underworld. A single strike from a weapon like the MOAB has the potential to level an entire cartel production site in seconds. The bomb is recognized as the most powerful non-nuclear explosive in the U.S. arsenal, even though it is not designed to penetrate hardened structures. Instead, it functions as a massive airburst weapon built for soft to medium surface targets and for enclosed environments such as deep canyons and cave systems. Its design allows it to spread an overwhelming blast across a wide radius, making it ideal for destroying above-ground facilities and tunnel networks that resemble the hidden complexes drug cartels now build across remote terrain. Although high-altitude carpet bombing with smaller 500 to 2,000-pound bombs from heavy aircraft such as the B-52, B-2, and B-1B can cover far larger areas, the MOAB serves a distinct purpose. It is meant for single, decisive strikes, rather than the wide-area devastation associated with heavy bomber missions. During the Vietnam War, for example, Operation Arc Light relied on B-52 formations that dropped 168 tons of ordnance in a single mission, equivalent to roughly 10 to 17 MOABs released across a zone measuring 1.5 by 0.5 miles. The MOAB cannot replicate that kind of saturation bombing, but it delivers unmatched force in one focused blast. Its destructive capability stems from its thermobaric composition, which uses a massive amount of aluminum to consume oxygen at the moment of detonation. This creates a violent pressure wave that wipes out everything within its reach. Even so, the MOAB's value extends beyond its physical effects. From its inception, it functioned as a psychological instrument of warfare. Its existence signaled rapid innovation under urgent pressure and demonstrated that the United States could deliver overwhelming force with little warning. As cartel compounds grow more fortified and more reliant on underground infrastructure, the same principle now applies. A single MOAB strike could erase an entire complex and send a powerful message to any criminal network studying U.S. tactics. Understanding how the MOAB operates reveals why it is discussed so seriously in modern counter-cartel planning. It detonates above ground or directly over softer surfaces, such as cave entrances, allowing the blast to roll through open areas and confined spaces with equal impact. Fortunately for the cartels, the MOAB will not appear each time the U.S. targets their strongholds, but the reasons behind its rare use are far more shocking than the weapon itself. The shocking truth about the mother of all bombs. The MOAB's history carries an unusual weight, not only because of its destructive size, but because of the unanswered questions woven into its creation. Its price, often cited as roughly $170,000, remains only a rough estimate from the mid-2000s. No modern record confirms the figure. The bomb was rushed into existence using spare casings and available metals, bypassing the usual procurement process entirely. The Air Force Research Laboratory relied on quick internal calculations, leaving behind a weapon whose actual cost has never been officially documented. Even the engineering behind it adds to the mystery. Although the Air Force designed and tested the MOAB, it quietly brought in Dynetics Incorporated in 2002 to craft the grid fin steering system for just $35,000. The company produced a lattice-style fin that enabled this enormous bomb to maneuver with unexpected precision, striking within 8 meters of its target. But Dynetics never explained the details of its work, and officials still cannot say whether that low-cost estimate actually includes the fin technology. The record simply ends there. The uncertainty continues with the stockpile. The military has never revealed how many MOABs were built, and the closest anyone has come to an answer is the widely repeated claim that about 15 remain. Their locations are classified. Their maintenance status is unknown. Their real value, if calculated today with proper accounting, has never been disclosed. This silence has only fueled the weapon's reputation as a rare, almost experimental giant that sits somewhere inside U.S. arsenals, waiting for the right moment. Even with the MOAB's limited stockpile, the United States holds another bomb in its arsenal, one capable of wiping out cartel strongholds the moment it is deployed. The Bunker Buster. In July 2004, the United States Air Force began developing a precision-guided bomb designed to destroy deeply buried targets such as caves, hardened bunkers, and underground command posts. That year, the Defense Threat Reduction Agency and the Air Force Research Laboratory at Eglin Air Force Base launched the Massive Ordnance Penetrator Program, or MOP. By November 2014, at least 20 of these weapons had already been delivered. Engineered to smash through reinforced concrete and compacted earth, the MOP was built for targets that conventional bombs could never reach. In size and mass, it eclipses even the MOAB. The MOAB weighs nearly 22,000 pounds, while the MOP comes in at roughly 33,000, making it the largest non-nuclear bomb in the American arsenal. Its warhead holds just over 5,000 pounds of explosives, less than a third of the MOAB's payload, yet its mission dictates its design. A high-density Eglin steel alloy casing allows the bomb to endure extreme stress as it burrows deep underground before detonating. The MOP's tremendous weight and specialized casing enable it to penetrate far beneath the surface, reaching facilities hidden well below protective layers of concrete and rock. Advanced guidance elevates it further. The bomb's guidance is controlled by a KMU-612 tail kit, which houses a GPS-assisted inertial navigation system and aerodynamic control surfaces for in-flight adjustments. Unlike standard bombs, the GBU-57 uses folding grid fins that fit inside a B-2's bomb bay and provide precise control at high speeds. A large penetrator smart fuse ensures detonation at the exact depth needed to collapse hardened structures. Years of analysis supported the MOP's development. For more than 15 years, defense analysts studied underground complexes like Fordo, gathering the data required to design a weapon capable of breaching deep, fortified targets. Facilities such as the Fordow complex and the newer halls at Natanz lie more than 80 meters underground, while older Natanz sections sit at depths of around 20 meters. Between 2009 and 2017, the Air Force invested heavily in the program, spending more than $572 million on research and development and another $43 million to procure 28 bombs. With a unit cost exceeding $21 million, the MOP stands in stark contrast to the MOAB's estimated price of roughly $170,000. On June 22, 2025, the GBU-57 massive ordnance Penetrator made its public debut during Operation Midnight Hammer. Preparation for deployment began quietly on June 16, 2025, when 31 air tankers moved east across the Atlantic. By June 20th, mission planning was complete. 2 days later, 7 B-2 Spirit bombers launched strikes on 3 critical Iranian nuclear sites: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan, each carrying 2 GBU-57 bombs built to crush underground fortresses. The MOP can penetrate roughly 18 meters of reinforced concrete with a compressive strength of 5,000 psi. Although some Iranian structures use materials that exceed these limits, careful targeting and structural analysis maximize the bomb's destructive reach. At exactly 6:40 that evening, 6 B-2s released 12 MOPs onto Fordow's ventilation shafts, while a 7th bomber struck Natanz. The resulting blasts illuminated the night sky with a brightness that looked like daylight breaking through the mountains. Satellite images later revealed 2 major clusters of impact points at Fordow, with the surface coated in gray-blue ash. While the facilities were not destroyed, they were heavily damaged and rendered temporarily inoperable. Intelligence reports indicated significant delays to Iran's nuclear program, with estimates ranging from several months to several years. Iranian officials publicly acknowledged severe damage, confirming that vital operations had been crippled. For cartel operations, the message is unmistakable. Underground laboratories, fortified bunkers, and hidden command centers offer no real protection against a weapon of this scale. With massive weight, precision guidance, and controlled detonation, the MOP can tear through any buried stronghold, turning once secure hideouts into exposed ruins. The next bomb the United States is preparing to deploy is among the most controversial ever built, feared for its devastating power. But once the war against the cartels begins, there will be no restraint. America will unleash its full force. The New Dawn. Vacuum bombs, also known as thermobaric or fuel-air explosives, are among the most devastating conventional weapons in modern arsenals. Their design draws oxygen from the surrounding air, allowing a dispersed fuel cloud to ignite either on contact or through a secondary charge. Upon detonation, this cloud generates intense heat and a crushing pressure wave, capable of obliterating cartel hideouts and underground drug laboratories with unprecedented efficiency. These weapons vary in size, from handheld grenades to enormous devices such as the so-called father of all bombs, which produces explosive power equivalent to 44 tons of TNT. Unlike conventional explosives, which rely on a pre-mixed fuel and oxidizer, thermobaric devices contain only fuel, making them far more energetic per unit of weight. Their dependence on atmospheric oxygen limits their use underwater, at high altitudes or in adverse weather. Still, in enclosed spaces like tunnels, bunkers, and fortified buildings, their destructive potential is unmatched. The initial detonation disperses the fuel into a cloud, which then ignites, producing a prolonged blast wave. Unlike traditional explosives, which radiate force from a single point, thermobaric explosions expand across a volume, generating multiple pressure fronts that propagate through both the fuel mixture and surrounding air. The principles behind thermobaric weapons mirror accidental, unconfined vapor cloud explosions, historically observed in flour mills, grain silos, and coal mines. Modern examples include empty oil tankers or refinery vessels, where dispersing flammable vapors can produce blasts powerful enough to be felt kilometers away. A typical thermobaric bomb consists of a fuel-packed container with a small conventional scatter charge at its center. Fuels range from powdered metals like aluminum or magnesium to organic materials, sometimes enhanced with partial oxidizers, with the latest iterations incorporating nano-fuels for increased effectiveness. The explosive yield depends on fuel dispersion, air mixing, and the timing and placement of ignition. In some designs, reinforced casings allow the fuel to superheat before dispersal, ensuring near-instant ignition when exposed to atmospheric oxygen. As combustion spreads, it sustains the fireball, generating extreme heat and pressure. Within enclosed spaces, reflective shock waves maintain the explosion for tens of milliseconds, and as gases cool and pressure drops sharply, a partial vacuum forms, giving rise to the vacuum bomb effect. This rarefaction amplifies damage by rupturing lungs and internal organs, making conventional armor or fortifications largely ineffective. Fuel-air explosives are typically deployed using a two-stage mechanism. The first charge disperses the fuel cloud, the second ignites it, producing a massive blast that flows around structures and penetrates deep into tunnels or bunkers. Casualties near the ignition point are often total, while those at the periphery suffer severe internal injuries, including ruptured lungs, concussions, and potential blindness. The extreme shock and pressure waves can incapacitate without immediately rendering victims unconscious, prolonging exposure to the lethal environment. The U.S. military refined thermobaric technology during operations in Afghanistan, targeting al-Qaeda and Taliban forces entrenched in cave networks. On March 2, 2002, a landmark mission involved the BLU-118B carried by an F-15E Strike Eagle of the 335th Fighter Squadron. Using a laser-guided targeting system, the aircraft calculated altitude, speed, and distance to release the bomb toward a tunnel entrance near a structure resembling a house. Its fins and airfoils are adjusted in flight for maximum precision. Although classified details remain limited, the bomb detonated above ground rather than inside the tunnel, illustrating both the complexity and power of thermobaric munitions. International law does not explicitly ban vacuum bombs, thermobaric devices, or fuel-air explosives when used against military targets. However, the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons prohibits attacks on civilians or civilian infrastructure. Efforts to establish broader regulations have repeatedly stalled, leaving these weapons largely unregulated. For cartel operations, this translates into an imminent tactical reality. Underground laboratories, fortified bunkers, and complex tunnel systems offer little protection against such a weapon. When deployed, a thermobaric bomb is capable of penetrating the most secure cartel strongholds, destroying infrastructure, and inflicting incapacitating pressure effects on anyone within its blast zone. Its sheer destructive capacity and strategic precision make it a decisive tool for exposing hidden cartel networks. While vacuum bombs still spark controversy, the next weapon brings no debate at all, and it isn't a mega bomb, but a fighter jet capable of raining fire on cartel strongholds and flushing out any boss, no matter how fortified their hideout. The F-35 Lightning II. As a single-engine, supersonic stealth multi-role aircraft, the F-35 Lightning II stands as the second fifth-generation fighter in U.S. service and the world's first operational supersonic STOVL stealth platform. Its blend of low observability, sensor fusion, and advanced avionics enables pilots to detect, track, and engage targets long before visual contact, making it particularly effective against dispersed or elusive adversaries, whether cartel-run convoys or fortified strongholds hidden deep in remote terrain. Structurally, the F-35 brings stealth, agility, and endurance together in a unified design. Its wingtail configuration, built with canted vertical stabilizers, leading-edge flaps, flaperons, rudders, and stabilators, enhances aerodynamic efficiency while keeping the aircraft's radar signature minimal. The aircraft's avionics and mission systems form the core of its combat advantage. Sensor fusion draws information from multiple sources to create a single, cohesive tactical picture. The AN/APG-81 AESA radar provides electronic scanning with modes suited for air-to-air combat, air-to-ground targeting, and high-resolution synthetic aperture mapping. The AN/ASQ-239 Barracuda electronic warfare suite detects, locates, and disrupts hostile radar systems. The AN/AAQ-37 distributed aperture system delivers full-sphere infrared coverage and missile launch detection. At the same time, the AN/AAQ-40 electro-optical targeting system supports laser-guided operations, forward-looking infrared, and long-range IRST functions. Together with the AN/ASQ-240 communications, navigation, and identification suite, the F-35 can operate securely as part of a networked strike package, an essential capability when coordinating multiple aircraft and UAVs in complex interdiction missions against cartel infrastructure. Inside the cockpit, the pilot is supported by a panoramic 20 by 8-inch touchscreen that consolidates aircraft controls, weapons management, CNI data, and system warnings. A speech recognition interface enables hands-free inputs, while the helmet-mounted display system overlays targeting information, sensor streams, and threat cues directly onto the visor by merging infrared imagery, night vision capabilities, and real-time sensor overlays. The pilot maintains full situational awareness even when tracking cartel convoys through dense urban grids or forested routes under low light conditions. The Gen 3 helmet, introduced in 2016, added automatic alignment, improved night vision, and liquid crystal projection, strengthening the aircraft's ability to operate in rapidly shifting environments. Stealth remains central to the F-35's survivability. Its airframe incorporates precise shaping, serrated panel edges, radar-absorbent materials, masked engine inlets, and compression bump diverter supersonic inlets to minimize radar returns. Combined with a low observable engine nozzle, these features enable the aircraft to approach heavily monitored zones undetected. Against cartel or smuggler operations, this advantage ensures the pilot retains the element of surprise, enabling precision strikes on convoys or fortified positions before hostile forces can react. Weapons are housed primarily in 2 internal bays containing 4 stations, maintaining stealth while carrying a diverse mix of air-to-air missiles and precision-guided munitions such as JDAMS, paveway bombs, JSOW, and cluster weapons. When stealth is no longer a priority, external stations can support additional ordnance. Ongoing upgrades, including the Sidekick Rack and Block 4 software expansions, increase payload capacity, integrate new munitions, and prepare the aircraft for future systems such as hypersonic weapons or directed energy technologies. The F-35's design balances speed, agility, and endurance with wide operational versatility. Its substantial internal fuel capacity, more than double that of the F-16, provides extended range and longer loiter time, an essential requirement when hunting mobile or concealed cartel targets. High alpha maneuverability, supported by large stabilators and leading-edge extensions, allows the aircraft to execute sharp turns and aggressive engagements during interdiction scenarios. This combination of stealth, sensors, and precision armament creates an asymmetric advantage. Adversaries cannot counter a threat they cannot see, and even rapidly moving convoys face near-zero survival once an F-35 strike begins. The Lightning II is also built with longevity in mind. Its modular avionics and software architecture, drawing on millions of lines of code from earlier programs, including the F-22, allow continuous integration of new weapons, sensors, and mission upgrades. As threats evolve, whether through advanced air defenses or increasingly sophisticated smuggling networks, the F-35 remains positioned at the forefront, capable of neutralizing emerging dangers before they pose a threat. And after the F-35 has torn apart the core of cartel defenses, a new generation of air power steps forward, an advanced fighter built to close the chapter with speed, stealth, and overwhelming precision. Next-generation dual executioner. Unlike traditional fighter jets that operate alone, the NGAD is built as an interconnected family of systems centered around a next-generation human-crewed aircraft, supported by a network of uncrewed aerial vehicles with a single command. The pilot can direct these autonomous partners, transforming the NGAD from a lone fighter into a coordinated strike force prepared for complex missions, including upcoming operations against Cartel Strongholds. Each NGAD is expected to fly with at least 2 collaborative combat aircraft, or CCAs, which take on roles ranging from air-to-air engagements to ground attacks and counter-air missions. Development of these advanced drones began in 2024, backed by up to $6 billion in U.S. funding through 2028. The CCAs are fully unmanned and guided by AI-driven software, pre-programmed with mission objectives, yet capable of adapting through real-time communication with their NGAD leader together. They create a seamless link between human judgment and autonomous precision. This partnership gives the NGAD pilot unmatched awareness, expanded survivability, and a flexible set of tactical options. CCAs can carry weapons, track hostile aircraft, conduct air-to-ground strikes, and gather intelligence across a broader area than any single fighter could manage. Equipped with sophisticated sensors, they warn the NGAD of incoming threats, enabling earlier evasive action and stronger missile defense. Some variants may also deploy electronic warfare tools, such as radar jammers, adding another layer of protection and control. In combat, the NGAD and its drones function as a unified network capable of overwhelming any adversary. Enemy pilots would no longer face a single highly trained operator. They would confront a coordinated formation of autonomous aircraft capable of evading missiles, disrupting sensors, and striking simultaneously. Even if a CCA is lost, the NGAD and the remaining drones maintain dominance, creating a persistent 3-to-1 advantage that grants U.S. forces clear superiority. This advantage will transfer directly into future operations against cartel aircraft, fortified compounds, and hardened leadership sites. The NGAD's stealth capabilities further elevate this dominance. Although many details remain classified, reports indicate it will achieve near-total invisibility across radar and thermal detection systems. This includes advanced thermal cloaking, which manipulates the heat signature of the engines and weapons to confound infrared sensors. While the NGAD is not literally invisible, its ability to control its thermal profile allows it to approach air and ground targets with minimal warning, enabling it to strike before hostile forces realize what is happening. Its weapons, derived and improved from the F-22 program, extend this edge with long-range engagement capabilities. Working with its CCAs, the NGAD can eliminate threats far beyond visual range, ensuring that hostile aircraft, air defenses, and fortified cartel positions are neutralized without exposing the main fighter to unnecessary risk. The fusion of stealth, advanced armament, and networked autonomous support establishes the NGAD as one of the most formidable aerial platforms ever developed. A key contributor to this breakthrough design is the NGAD's use of advanced materials. Unlike most fighters that rely heavily on metal, the NGAD incorporates cutting-edge composite structures, with ceramic matrix composites, CMCs, anchoring its design. In a traditional CMC, reinforcement fibers provide strength, while the matrix binds the material. In the NGAD, both components are made from the same ceramic type, sometimes reinforced with secondary fibers, producing a material that surpasses the durability and heat resistance of conventional ceramics and high-performance alloys. The benefits are substantial. CMCs maintain integrity at extreme temperatures while weighing only a third as much as nickel-based alloys. This combination gives the jet greater maneuverability and higher payload capacity without sacrificing speed or agility. Their fracture toughness and resistance to thermal shock allow the NGAD to withstand conditions that push other fighters to their structural limits. In practice, enemies must contend not only with the NGAD's weapons and drones, but also with a fighter that is lighter, stronger, and more agile than anything they have faced before. The strategic value extends well beyond a single aircraft. GE Aviation is exploring CMC applications for the F-35, signaling a broader transition that will eventually strengthen multiple U.S. platforms. This shift suggests a future where the NGAD and its successors form a dominant aerial fleet, giving U.S. forces and any future counter-cartel operations an even greater technological edge. Yet materials alone do not define the NGAD's performance. Its speed and efficiency rely on the Next-Generation Adaptive Propulsion System, or NGAP, developed with Pratt & Whitney. The prototype engine, designated XA-103, has completed early evaluations and is advancing toward ground testing. The NGAP is designed to deliver higher fuel efficiency, giving the fighter extended range and long mission endurance, capabilities critical for deep-reach operations into cartel-controlled airspace. It also provides powerful thermal management systems that strengthen stealth and improve performance under intense operating conditions. Insights from John R. Sneeden, propulsion director at the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, indicate that the NGAP builds on technologies from the F-35's Adaptive Engine Transition Program, including improved composites and advanced cooling. These enhancements enable the NGAD to operate undetected in heavily contested zones while maintaining high performance. The NGAP is expected to enable supercruise speeds far beyond the F-22's Mach 1.7, likely nearing Mach 2. Supercruise, sustained supersonic flight without afterburners, reduces heat emissions, helping the NGAD maintain stealth even at extreme velocities. Combined with its range and fuel efficiency, this capability gives the jet a decisive advantage over any rival aircraft it may encounter during future cartel interdiction missions. Its weapons suite reinforces this superiority. One of its primary armaments is expected to be the Raytheon AM-260 Joint Advanced Tactical Missile, or JATM, capable of Mach 5, more than twice the speed of China's J-35. The JATM can engage advanced enemy aircraft at distances up to 120 miles. It uses inertial navigation paired with an active radar seeker, ensuring accuracy even at extreme ranges. Brigadier General Anthony Genetempo has emphasized that the JATM surpasses the AMRAAM in range and is tailored specifically to counter new adversary aircraft. The NGAD is also expected to carry the Northrop Grumman Stand-in Attack Weapon, or SIAW, a precision missile designed to strike relocatable surface targets such as ships or land-based air defenses. This widens the NGAD's mission profile beyond air combat, allowing it to suppress hostile ground positions, an essential capability for future operations targeting cartel compounds and defensive networks. Another central strength is the NGAD's high-altitude performance. Expected to operate near 60,000 feet, the aircraft gains significant advantages in reach, stealth, and engagement timing. At that altitude, missiles travel farther and faster due to reduced drag, giving the NGAD the ability to strike long before opponents flying 20 or 30,000 feet lower can react. This first look, first shot, first kill capability defines the NGAD's strategic purpose: to control the battle space while avoiding detection until the instant of attack. Even in small numbers, the combination of advanced sensors, adaptive propulsion, high-altitude flight, and long-range weaponry produces a disproportionate effect, reshaping engagement geometry and giving the U.S. a decisive advantage. For cartel forces, accustomed to speed, concealment, and unpredictable movement, the introduction of the NGAD marks a fundamental shift. Soon, they will face a jet designed not only to find them, but to end their operations before they can react.